What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. I am super excited for this one because we are getting some Flashpoint Beyond issue number 0. The legendary writer Jeff Johns is taking us back to the Flashpoint existence, a sequel that follows up Flashpoint itself. We dive back into the world of Thomas Wayne, arguably one of my favorite Batman variations. Ever since the events of Flashpoint, we have seen Thomas Wayne pop up here and there, from The Button to Infinite Frontier, most recently Justice League Incarnate. And if you haven't checked that out, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything that happened with that event. But in that series, what we saw was the death of Thomas Wayne, being killed in a fight against Darkseid. They were trying to prevent the Great Darkness. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue number 0, we are picking up with Batman currently studying this chalkboard. On this board, there is lots of stuff going on. At the very top, it says 5G averted. Now for me, I gotta assume that they are talking about the 5G event that was supposed to happen, but more or less got nixed. There are many questions also being raised, like what is beyond the Omniverse? The fall of the Justice League, it leads to the rise of something. Questions about Deathstroke. Going through all of this, we find out that we are in the location of the Time Master's hideout. Mime and Marionette have helped him come to locate one specific item, and that is the watch of Janie Slater. Not really sure what he is up to, letting the two of them know that their job here is done and that they can leave, not giving them any information. He does go to the chalkboard, and we see him erase the sentence that says Thomas Wayne will die. Now I think up to this point, most of us, we know the story of Flashpoint. Barry Allen, he goes back in time to try to save his mother. In doing so, it leads to a world-ending event, the Atlanteans versus the Amazons. Thomas Wayne becomes Batman after the death of their son, and Martha becomes the Joker. Thomas Wayne teaming up with the Flash. Together, they were able to reverse all of the effects that Barry Allen had changed, sacrificing himself and his entire timeline just so Bruce Wayne could exist. Picking up in Gotham City, this is where we have him waking up, everyone believing him to be drunk. We have Harvey Dent coming and storming in, saying that he is going to arrest him, that he is going to do whatever it takes to bring him down. Thomas Wayne at this point, he is trying to gather his thoughts. The last thing he remembers is Darkseid. By all accounts, he should be dead right now. He's not understanding how this timeline is in existence, why he is here. He doesn't understand anything right now. Harvey Dent's daughter, she committed suicide, and right now he is holding Dr. Wayne 100% responsible, saying that he can prove that he murdered Joe Chill, that he will pay for all of the suffering that he has caused this family. With Thomas Wayne getting up and taking off, he's trying to figure out what the heck is going on, heading to the gravesite of both his wife and his son. His worst fears are true. This is his timeline. This is his reality. Confirming this by breaking into Star Labs, checking the frequency. He doesn't understand what the heck is going on. This timeline should be obliterated. His conclusion is that somebody has to be messing with the timeline. This is the only explanation. Meanwhile, on the news, they are letting us know that across the world it is absolute chaos, with the Atlanteans and the Amazons currently at war. America's allies are dwindling. Superman may exist, but his Kryptonian ship, it landed in a city, or at least that's what they're reporting, saying that it killed thousands of individuals. As the fear-mongering on the news continues, what they are saying is that we should expect an invasion of Kryptonians. With Thomas Wayne listening to this but going through all of his notes, he looks at a chalkboard. It is completely blank, looking away but then looking back yet again. This time, there are words on it. Words saying everything matters. With Thomas Wayne not sure what this means, thinking that maybe this is the Reverse Flash. Maybe he's messing with me. Smashing this chalkboard, he vows that he is going to change it all back, that he will ensure Bruce Wayne lives. Taking us over to Central City, they currently have a killer on the loose known as the Clockwork Killer, an individual who has been murdering people throughout the city, taking out their organs and replacing it with clock gears. Our forensic scientist shows up, the one, the only, Barry Allen. As they do the autopsy on this guy, we find out that his name is Abracadabra. Murdered right here in this alleyway, dismembered, all of his organs taken, the same MO as the last couple of murders. As he studies this body, he heads home. What we learn is this is the Barry Allen before the Flash. Always late to getting to places, completely consumed in his work, no personal life whatsoever. But when he heads home, he has someone waiting for him. Thomas Wayne sitting in the dark. He tells Barry Allen it is time they have a conversation. Not sure if Barry remembers everything like he does. He quickly learns that this Barry Allen is not the Flash. Regardless, he tells him everything from start to finish. As Barry Allen takes all of this information in, he is completely overwhelmed, telling Thomas Wayne that it is time you leave so I can gather my thoughts and figure out what the heck you are talking about. But Thomas doesn't have time to wait. Drugging Barry Allen, he takes him back to Wayne Manor. Upon arriving, the sky is red, the thunder is rumbling, the lightning is striking. He has come to prove that he is right. Barry Allen absolutely petrified as he comes to consciousness. Batman apologizes to him but says that this has to happen. I will prove to you that everything I said is true, letting him know that he has a family, a legacy, a museum. He has all of this. Barry Allen taught him that there was a better way than how he had been doing crime. And while so far he really has stepped over the edge, none of this is going to matter if he can bring the Flash back. As the antenna goes up, all they have to do now is wait for the lightning. But before that lightning can hit that rod, we see the chemicals shattered, the ones that are supposed to be injected into his body when the lightning comes down. The perfect mixture to create the Flash. All of this happening in a matter of milliseconds. The lightning strikes that rod. Thomas Wayne can do nothing to stop this. Barry Allen takes that electricity and he burns to a crisp. The Flash is dead before he could ever be born. Simultaneously, down on the ground, this is where we see Harvey Dent gets harpooned through the chest. Batman jumping down to the rescue because Harvey Dent had his son Dexter in the back seat, being able to save the kid just in time. They see the perpetrator jumping from the rooftop, setting the kid down. He is in hot pursuit. It doesn't take long for Batman to catch up to him as he starts breaking bones. As he starts really punishing this guy, he has to ask the question, who sent you? And what do you know about Barry Allen? This guy being sent by Aquaman. Thomas Wayne has to wonder, how the heck does Aquaman know about any of this? The guy tries to lie and say that Batman was a target. He knows that's not the truth. What Aquaman had told his assassin is that Batman was gonna go looking for Barry Allen to change things, sending him on the mission of assassinating Barry Allen before he could become the Flash and make any changes to the timeline. The assassin continues talking, really egging him on, asking him if he has ever had to see a dead child, talking about how much he loves killing women and children and the innocent. Thomas, unable to control himself, he takes this guy, smashes his head into the wall over and over again until he is nothing but a bloody pulp of a skull. And he knows this is not the best version of himself. He also knows that none of this will matter once he fixes the timeline. This could be one of the most brutal variations of Thomas Wayne to ever hit the floor. Because right now the only thing he cares about is fixing this timeline. He will kill anybody that gets in his way because he knows what is possible. He knows the future that is out there for his son. After getting a small taste of that and being back in his reality, he will stop at nothing to ensure this goes back to the regular existence where Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. taking us to Epilogue 1. We're picking up in Arkham Asylum. They have come to let Gilda Dent know that her son, the son of Harvey Dent, has been adopted by Thomas Wayne. But we also see someone else. Mr. Hayden himself, the Psycho Pirate, is currently locked up, and he's trying to figure out what is going on, appearing to be from the main reality. He says that Bruce Wayne is supposed to be Batman. In Epilogue number 2, this is where we have Batman inside the base of operations for the Time Hunters, currently going over every bit of information they have. What we see is a diagram that says the Divine Continuum, and it's breaking down every little part of DC Comics, and how space and time are separate things. Space being the omniverse, and time being hypertime. And hypertime, it breaks off into limbo and the vanishing point. The omniverse, it breaks off into the dark multiverse, the sphere of the gods, the multiverse, and the metaverse, aka Prime Earth. But as Batman goes through all of this information, this Batman being Bruce Wayne, in case I hadn't made that clear, this is where we see the arrival of Corky Baxter, letting Batman know that Rip Hunter is not gonna be happy. Also informing him that Rip Hunter is getting the Time Masters all back together. Using all of them, Hunter plans to change Bruce Wayne's history. That Batman has opened up a can of worms, and they're gonna make him eat it. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue number 1, what they are giving us is an exploration into the world of Flashpoint, letting us know that the war between Atlanteans and Amazons, it has really escalated. The entire island of Britain has been taken over by the Atlanteans, looking like he has defeated the Amazons, with Wonder Woman not being anywhere to be found. He is executing Amazons one by one, and he issues a new threat to the rest of the world. More or less, this is a threat that Atlanteans have been saying for quite some time. It is time that you guys leave the waters. You hand over all of your nuclear weapons to Atlantis. That all surface dwellers, they will adhere to his total authority. The alternative is for everybody to drown, putting a clock of 12 hours on this. There being no more heroes left alive to really save the day. While Superman is out there, he hasn't interfered with anything. The government's not sure of his intentions, but some do hope that he will put a stop to this tyrannical Aquaman. Meanwhile, we have Thomas Wayne sitting down with the son of Harvey Dent. Him and Dexter are having a meal, and through this meal, we're getting narration from Thomas. A lot of it is information that we already know about the man named Joe Chill, how Thomas Wayne has hunted him down, killed him, but was never satisfied with just that one death, wanting to take out everybody like Joe Chill. That was the creation of his Batman, reminding us that it wasn't even that long ago when Barry Allen showed him a world that shouldn't exist, that he didn't believe existed. A world where Bruce Wayne was the one to live. Not sure on how he got back into the Flashpoint world. He is determined to get it back to how it was. He doesn't want the Flashpoint timeline to exist at all. Any world, any existence that doesn't have his son living in that timeline. And so now he is doing everything he can to reverse how things happened, attempting to go to Barry Allen to make him the Flash. We saw the Scavenger, he ended those plans, giving Thomas Wayne his new objective: find Aquaman and get some answers. This is where we see the arrival of Oswald. As we have the arrival of Oswald, aka the Penguin from our timeline, being more or less the right hand of Thomas Wayne. He has called him over so he can watch Dexter, knowing his objective, knowing that he has to get to Britain and he has to find Aquaman to get the answers he wants. As Thomas begins to suit up and get ready for the night, he thinks to himself that someone had to change the timeline. He is fairly confident that Barry Allen had nothing to do with this. He's a little less confident that the Reverse Flash had anything to do with it, because the truth of the matter, if it was Thawne, would he let Barry Allen die? Would he allow one of Aquaman's assassins to come out and stop the Flash from being born in this timeline? While it may remain a possibility on the board board, Thomas Wayne doesn't believe this to be true, but the only person he can get these answers from is Aquaman. While he is getting prepared, this is where we see Amanda Waller on the TV. She is giving an announcement that every single metahuman is being conscribed into their army. A final and last push against Aquaman and the Atlanteans. Not only that, but every one of these metahumans, they are going to be under the telepathic control of the son of Saturn. Not only that, we have the death of Oliver Queen. One by one, the heroes that exist in Flashpoint, they are going down, and they are going down with the entire world. Thomas Wayne has no concerns over any of this though. His only concern is erasing Flashpoint and ensuring that Bruce Wayne still exists and he is still alive. In the world of Flashpoint, everything is at a standstill. We are 1 hour out from Aquaman's deadline. Wonder Woman is still missing. The world wonders, where is this Superman? Will he come to their aid, or is he waiting for some kind of alien invasion? The world hasn't seen Wonder Woman because currently she is held captive by Aquaman, being tied up with the lasso of truth. As the water levels get higher and higher, the idea is that she is going to drown as Britain is swallowed up by all the water. Lucky for her, Thomas Wayne has other plans, breaking into this facility and killing the guards very quickly. We see the two of them have a conversation. Now, Thomas Wayne, he didn't come here to free her. The truth is, he needs the lasso of truth to get the information he wants from Aquaman. This is the only way he knows he can surely get it. Of course, if he takes that lasso off, Wonder Woman is going to kill him. She knows that, he knows that, and so now he needs to strike a deal. He needs to figure out a way that he can walk away from this. What he is asking is to simply borrow the lasso of truth to get the information he wants from Aquaman, and then whatever you do after that, I don't care. He doesn't care what happens to this city, this planet, this entire timeline. The only thing he wants is information. The two of them striking a deal. We pick up with Aquaman, and the lasso of truth is wrapped around his neck. Having it secure, Batman begins to do his interrogation, asking why he sent the assassin to kill Barry Allen. And this definitely doesn't go as planned for Batman. Being whipped around with Aquaman grabbing hold of the lasso, it is still wrapped around him, and he is asking as many questions as quickly as he can, trying to get any information out. The lasso working on Aquaman, he lets it be known that he sent no assassin to kill Barry Allen. As Batman begins to get his butt freaking kicked by Aquaman, Thomas Wayne is recognizing that he has been played. Right now, while he is away from Gotham, his casino was just hit with a bomb. Someone wanted him out of Gotham. This has been one giant setup from some hidden mystery individual, but he knows now it had nothing to do with Aquaman. But while Aquaman is going on his monologue about how he's saving the world from the Amazons, believing that Wonder Woman has already fled this place to save her sisters, little did he know, she came into the room, grabbed his trident, and impaled him before he even noticed her there. As Aquaman begins to bleed out, the reign of Atlantis has come to an end. Thomas Wayne, satisfied with the answers that he got, having no intentions of stopping Wonder Woman or whatever she plans to do next. Of course, her plans are world domination. As Thomas Wayne makes his way back to the manor, he is trying to figure out what the heck is going on, why they blew up his casino, why it was made to look like Aquaman was responsible for what is going on. Someone is playing in the shadows, someone is besting him, but as he gets back, what he sees is Dexter is being trained in firearms by Oswald. Oswald letting Batman know that there's really no information on who blew up the casino. All of the security cameras had been taken down, but telling him that he needs to go look for some kind of evidence. That they had to leave a trace, there has to be some kind of trail. And that's when we're jumped over to our current timeline with Batman and the Flash. Sometime after the events of the button, Barry Allen comes rushing in here to try to figure out what is going on, saying that he felt something, believing that Thawne is back, saying that he tried to tap into the Speed Force yet again, but it spit him out. The trail, it ended at the Batcave. Bruce Wayne letting him know since the last time he was here, he has upgraded the defenses and made it to where a speedster infiltrates this place unknowingly, they're gonna get brought down very quickly, letting Bruce Wayne know that he will ask for help if he needs it, but Jay is going to be helping him temporarily try to figure out whatever is messing with the timeline. As he is leaving, he lets Batman know that I don't know what you are doing here, but whatever it is, the Flashes are going to find out. And while Barry may not be able to stop him, he lets them know that the Flashes, they will, with it all linking back to the one wristwatch belonging to Janie Slater, the once love interest of Dr. Manhattan. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Batman trying to figure out who this Clockwork Killer is. Barry Allen was only the first target, and through his investigation, he has found that there have been a multitude of murders, killing individuals that will have the power to affect time, from Captain Atom to Dr. Time. Someone is actively preventing this world from being erased, from anybody changing what is. For Thomas Wayne, nothing matters. There are no limits. He knows that this world should not exist. He knows that Bruce Wayne is out there, and he will stop at nothing to ensure that Flashpoint is gone. The only thing he hasn't figured out is motive. Why would somebody want this place to exist, not being visited by any time travelers? No Legionnaires, no Hourman, no Booster Gold. There has been no savior from tomorrow coming, and so he knows that he is alone in saving the world, Bruce Wayne's world. And so if trying to figure all of this out isn't enough, Thomas Wayne's casino was detonated. Someone planted a bomb and blew the whole place to smithereens. This was the main source of his money so that he could be Batman. It's possible that whoever this Clockwork Killer is, they know that he is Thomas Wayne and he also is Batman. He also has Cobblepot teaching the Dent kid, Dexter, really all there is to know about being Batman. Not directly, but they're teaching him about explosives, how to fight, so on and so forth. Teaching him guns, all of these things. Maybe it's just preparing him for the world, for what Gotham is. Or maybe this is preparation for Thomas Wayne's Robin. Because if nothing in this world matters, Thomas Wayne could very easily not care about this kid's life and just use him as a weapon, essentially turning him into the most lethal version of Nightwing. A Damian Wayne that is more angry but wielding pistols. As he makes his way to the site of the casino, everything is in shambles. And as it stands, there's really not any information. They don't know who did this. They don't know what kind of explosive were used. As they get to the bottom of all of this, someone asked Thomas Wayne a question. Psycho Pirate is currently in Arkham. This Psycho Pirate, though, he has been rambling on and on and on about a dark crisis and Bruce Wayne being Batman. This Psycho Pirate, we can only assume, is from Earth Zero, though it is possible for him to be from a multitude of universes. Throughout the last year or two, we have seen Psycho Pirate used in a variety of ways. He was a puppet for Darkseid. After that, we saw him being used in Arkham Tower. And now we have him transported to Flashpoint. This is the lead that Thomas Wayne has been waiting for. He has a little bit of knowledge on Psycho Pirate because of Bruce, knowing that he has the unique ability of remembering everything. His memories never change despite all of reality changing around him. He is an individual that has watched the world be rewritten time and time again. But it appears that Psycho Pirate's mind has finally snapped, thinking that maybe he doesn't even remember what reality he is actually in anymore. The thing that he doesn't know is how Psycho Pirate got in here. From all of his files, it says that he was pretty drugged up and left on the footsteps of Arkham. Someone dropped him off here and drugged him up to ensure that he wouldn't say anything to anybody. They also left him here because they knew that Thomas Wayne would follow this trail, or so he believes. That is, until he walks into the cell of Psycho Pirate only to see that he has hung himself, or at least that is what it appears to be. Thomas Wayne, recognizing that this is staged. Someone made it look like a suicide. Luckily for Thomas Wayne, Psycho Pirate, he made the message all over his walls. Much of it is cryptic. Much of it Thomas Wayne doesn't really understand. He does mention Judy Garrett. Not only that, but all names of all Flashes, from Wally West to Barry Allen, even mentioning Pariah being like all the others. Psycho Pirate not even sure if he is the real Psycho Pirate. Leaving this place, he is leaving with more questions than answers. As he is leaving though, he runs into Mrs. Dent. And after listening to the ramblings of Psycho Pirate over the last 3 days, she has finally pieced together that Batman is Dr. Thomas Wayne. More than anything, she wants to know how her son is, asking if Dexter is okay. The truth is, he watched a harpoon go through the chest of his father. By no means is this kid okay. As she changed the subject, this is where she tries to get underneath the skin of Thomas, bringing up Bruce Wayne, asking if he was buried. Really, she's just trying to get some kind of information about Dexter, trying to make him feel guilty, trying to relate to him as a parent. But then she goes for the real deep cut, talking about Martha, how her transformation to the Joker, it was years in the making. From the neglect to sleeping around, everything Thomas Wayne had done wrong in their marriage, trying to make him feel like he is responsible for her finally snapping. As Thomas just loses it, he punches right through that security glass and he bloodies her face. Seeing how truly crazy she is, she slams her face against that door time and time and time again until her face is covered red. He tells her that none of this matters. As she is screaming it matters to her, we see Batman leave Arkham. As he makes his way through the city, he keeps telling himself that this isn't real, that none of this matters. Even if nobody else can see it, he knows that it is all wrong, that he will erase this place at all costs. But deep down, it does feel real. As he comes down in an alleyway with some individuals trying to rob a woman, we see Thomas Wayne just let loose, breaking bones left and right. He has to admit to himself that this feels good. No restraint, no remorse, no feelings at all whatsoever. Having no consequences in the slightest. He takes a gun from one of these guys and he goes to put a bullet into his head, telling them that none of this matters. This is when he gets hit hard, being thrown in the opposite direction. We have the arrival of Superman Subject 1, coming to tell him that he is wrong, that everything matters. Taking us over to Bruce Wayne. He has been working to get his father back. That's what's funny about this whole story. Thomas Wayne is trying to bring Bruce back. He's trying to save his son, while Bruce is simultaneously trying to save his father. But Bruce Wayne is being warned that he has been making a lot of mistakes. Stealing the snow globe, taking Janie Slater's watch. All of these things have been noticed, and while the watch wasn't the hugest of importance, this snow globe is. If Dr. Hunter and the other Time Masters don't get here in time, the owner of that snow globe is going to be here, and they are going to make Bruce Wayne regret ever touching that globe. Alright guys, so as we get into issue number 3, we are picking up at the destruction of Krypton, the planet dying. They send Kal-El out into the stars. As he is an infant making his way through the cosmos, we see that this is not the only ship that went out, but his ship, it landed on Earth, crashing directly into Metropolis. It was absolute devastation. On that day, 35,000 civilians had been killed, and the city of Metropolis, it was decimated. This story is all being told on the news. A TV in the background where we have Penguin and our young Dent child. In the last issue, I talked about how I think Dent is going to be lined up to be the next Robin. The Robin for Thomas Wayne. It really seems like it's heading in that direction. but we're gonna talk more about that once we get to the end of the issue. While they are sitting here teaching him how to pick locks, this is where we see an image of Eobard Thawne saying that he needs Thomas Wayne, that something is coming for him, and then he mentions hyper time. As quickly as he came in is as fast as he leaves. Not really sure what that was. We are taken over to Subject 1, standing toe to toe with our Batman. Thomas Wayne doesn't really want anything to do with him, but Subject 1, he is letting him know that he needs his help. As he goes to walk away, Subject 1 grabs him by the shoulder, and we see Thomas Wayne punch Subject 1 in the face. In doing so, he fractured his wrist. And with Batman not wanting to come with him, not wanting to hear out any kind of reason, Subject 1 knocks him clean out. That's where we pick up with Gilda Dent. Her face is just torn to crap. We see the birth of Two-Face for the Flashpoint universe. We see her decline into madness. A mother just wanting to get back to her son, the son that is now under the protection of Thomas Wayne. Picking up with Thomas Wayne waking up after being knocked out, we have Poison Ivy, now being part of the Parliament of Trees. He has been brought to the only safe place on Earth, a place known as the Oasis. Subject 1 had reached out to them to create this place, this sanctuary, a safe haven for people like them that are displaced, that are lost in this world, and it offers them protection. But it wasn't the Superman or Poison Ivy that built this place. It was Jason Woodrue, aka the Swamp Thing. As he talks to Subject 1, Swamp Thing is letting it be known that they have food, but must expand the green further to accommodate some of the European refugees that they have got in. He says that he is atoning for his sins. Now this is when Thomas Wayne, he goes up to the Superman and he lets him know that you need to take me back to Gotham and you need to do it now. I don't care what you need. I don't care about the help that you want. But what we find out is that there were some crystals located on the outskirts of Metropolis. These crystals, they are information hubs, something that should have been implanted into Subject 1's brain when he first got here. It is Kal-El's father, that if he is able to see this, that means there is a possibility that the rest of the Kryptonians could also live here, saying that there is still hope to find a new home before theirs self-destructs. Being sent to his assigned world, just like all of the other children, saying it could be their new home. His mission upon adulthood is to use his powers to disarm the humans in advance of an arrival from Krypton, and he plans to conquer the entire planet as father and son. This is when Thomas Wayne understands an invasion is coming. They have 5 days before the Kryptons make their arrival, with Kal-El trying to ask Thomas Wayne, will you help us? But the truth is, Thomas Wayne, he's like, what do you want me to do? What could I possibly do? What they want to do is gather the forces, build up an army in these 5 days, something that might be able to stand off this invasion. Now, Kal-El, he has grown up with these people. He understands what Earth is. Even though they experimented on him, they tortured him for years. He knows the true potential of what humanity is. Wanting to bring Cyborg, Element Woman, Starman all back together. They want some kind of chance against this Kryptonian army. Thomas Wayne, he tells him no, because if there is an invasion coming, that means he has 5 days to complete his mission. And unfortunately for Subject 1, his mission has nothing to do with his. That's when we pick up in the apartment of Iris West. And that is because the Clockwork Killer has struck again. This time is Eobard Thawne, trying to come to Iris West, trying to be saved in any way he can. Eventually, the Clockwork Killer caught up with him. With Thawne taken out of the equation, we jump over to Hyper Time. This is where we pick up with Jeff and Bonnie making their way through Hyper Time. They see the paradox, they they see the resets. Not sure if Thomas Wayne was responsible, this is when they recognize that it was Thawne, trying to find Rip Hunter, and also trying to get back to the other side of the continuum. What we learn is that the Omniverse may be relatively more stable than Hypertime, but its multiverses, they are being besieged by the Great Darkness, which we see going on in Dark Crisis. And so this is altering things, trying to steer clear from all the Omniverse until the Justice League returns and the darkness passes, thinking that maybe Rip Hunter has been caught by Pariah. Not really sure if he was involved in this or not. The only thing that they can hope for is that Rip Hunter doesn't make it worse. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 4, it really picks us up at Arkham Asylum. Only briefly here for a minute, we have a janitor who is listening to the radio, and what it is telling us is that the war that is plaguing this world, it is about to get much worse. Having Task Force X under the control of the son of Saturn and under the direction of Director Waller, they are sending Task Force X into battle to keep the Amazons at bay. It's really just letting us know that Flashpoint, this universe, this world, it is falling apart at the seams. And Thomas Wayne, he has no time to try and fix it. He knows exactly what needs to be done. He needs to erase his world from existence, ensuring that Bruce Wayne will live. This is where we find him doing an autopsy of the most recent victim of the Clockwork Killer, that being Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, a living paradox, having the power to manipulate the timeline permanently. We know exactly what he has done. We know exactly what he is capable of. Being curious on how he was killed, Thomas Wayne is more obsessed on why he was killed. Running out of time, he does this autopsy, and inside the skin of Eobard Thawne, this is where he finds a gear to a clock. Heading back to the mansion, he begins to do his work, trying to piece this all together and figure out what this person is, what they want, and why they are stopping him from making any changes. Now this is where we pick up with little Dexter Dent, making his way down into the Batcave. He starts looking for something, looking for gear. Finding what he is looking for, he suits up, and we see this little wannabe Robin go out to rescue somebody. And this is something that I've actually been talking about over the last couple of issues. The idea that Dexter Dent was going to be some kind of Robin to Thomas Wayne's Batman. Thomas Wayne finding out from Penguin that he is now gone, that little Dexter has taken off. Not really sure where he might have gone, but they do have a good idea. And this is where we see Dexter on top of a vehicle sneaking his way into Arkham Asylum, the place where his mother, aka Two-Face, is being held. As Oswald and Thomas have a conversation, really what we're learning is Thomas Wayne doesn't give two craps about Dexter. Doesn't care where he went, what he's doing, or what he is up to. Running out of time to destroy this place, to destroy this world, he is focused on the Clockwork Killer. Oswald is infuriated that he is not going to help this kid. A kid who just lost his sister, lost his father to murder, and he doesn't need to know that he has lost his mother to madness. Saying that he would go himself, but he doesn't have the physical capability to go in and do this. But to Thomas Wayne, none of this matters. This is when Oswald starts to recognize that these killings, they are about something more. That the Clockwork Killer is something bigger than Thomas Wayne has been letting on. Meanwhile, at Arkham Asylum, we see our young Dexter has made his way into the facility, and he has knocked out a couple of guards, taking their guns and unloading the weapons, throwing them into the trash. He begins picking the lock on the door that is holding his mother. Thomas Wayne working with great effort to put together all of these gears and make this clock work, knowing that once he has all the gears in place, the answer will be right before him, that he will be able to fix all of this. Young Dent unlocking the door, and his mother embraces him. He quickly recognizes that there is something wrong with her, speaking in almost two different voices, almost having two different personalities. He's not really sure what is going on. All he really cares about is getting her out of here. He knows that people that go into Arkham Asylum, that they change. They change into something that they are not. What he doesn't realize is that it is already too late for his mother. With Thomas Wayne completing this clock, there is one gear left over. That gear that is left over, it does not belong to this clock. This is when he finally puts it all together. The puzzle piece that he has been missing this whole time, right under his nose, not paying attention. As he goes upstairs, he goes to the giant grandfather clock that is in his house. The clock that hasn't worked for such a long time, believing that if he is right, this should be impossible. And so while Thomas Wayne is putting this back into his grandfather clock, we have Two-Face and Dexter Dent, who are about to meet a new individual, or you could say an old individual, one that is very known, one that should be dead. Coming in from a hidden passageway, getting her into this cell, the person that we see, the person who is the Clockwork Killer, is none other than Mrs. Wayne herself, aka the Joker. Now, this is where we pick up with Bruce Wayne, having this little snow globe, having this watch. Taking these two objects and touching them together, this creates temporal energy. This is blue shift power. It's created when the Omniverse comes in direct contact with hypertime, when space meets time. This is the most dangerous form of energy on either side. This is when Bruce Wayne is starting to get informed about things that he might not known about, going on about a story where things are kept secrets. And speaking of secrets, he begins talking about Bruce Wayne's mother, how she had lots of secrets and lots of problems. Things that he never knew about, things from her past, things that Thomas Wayne was eventually going to have to face. The simple truth is Batman, he doesn't know everything about everything this time. Alright gang, so we pick up with issue number 5, 2 days after the Dark Crisis, having Mr. Terrific and Dr. Baxter sitting down on a television show. Dr. Baxter being one of the Time Hunters. We are actually learning a great deal of things. We learn that the Great Darkness is in fact defeated, that the Justice League has returned. And as Mr. Terrific goes on talking about the Omniverse, how it affected everything everywhere, Dr. Baxter goes on to let him know that while all of that is great, it's important, you're only talking about one side of the equation, because with the Great Darkness, space and time were affected. Mr. Terrific leaving out that time, it was severely affected. And when we're talking about hypertime is never stagnant. It's almost emotional. And this is because it reacts. It changes with people, continuously growing, splintering on into endless numbers of timelines. At every major personal crossroad, a choice is made. In those times of great importance, that is when timelines can split. When this happens, new timelines are created in hypertime. But unlike parallel Earths, ones that come and go, these alternate timelines inside of hypertime, they exist forever. Going on to say that it is unpredictable. In hypertime, it remains mostly unexplored. That is where Time Hunters come in. Now, Mr. Terrific, he would argue that Rip Hunter and the Time Hunters, they can be very reckless with the timeline. Not only that, they are accused of messing with everybody's memory, which to a point, this is true. While they weren't behind the first crisis in time, it revealed a bridge between the two sides of existence, the divine continuum. This event did slightly change collective history. Those traveling through time, they are painfully aware of exactly what is being rewritten. For everybody else, they refer to it as the Mandela effect. But in comparison, this is small scale. We have seen a whole slew of individuals affecting the timeline, from the Flash to Dr. Manhattan. And so while all the skies were red, while the Omniverse is under siege from the Great Darkness, The crisis that is involving hypertime, it remains hidden from the public. The world, the people of it, they have very little understanding or knowledge of the war on time that is waged daily. Getting an alert on her watch, letting her know that the lab is under attack and Rip Hunter is gone. In the blink of an eye, we see the Doctor disappear. This is where we pick up with Batman, aka Bruce Wayne. We also have Ra's al Ghul. Now, up to this point, Ra's al Ghul was presumed to be dead. If this does in fact take place 2 days after Dark Crisis, because it doesn't show any kind of timestamp. So we're not 100% sure exactly when this moment is taking place. But he does go on to say that he is presumed to be dead. But Ra's al Ghul has come here not to fight, not to try to control anything or take anything over. He has come with information, reading Kovac's journal, doing his research elsewhere. He is very aware of Thomas Wayne, giving him a folder that says the Time Masters. He lets him know that there is a way to save his father, that there is still time, but it is very much running out. Picking up with Thomas Wayne 1 day after Flashpoint was recreated. He is hightailing it all the way over to Arkham. He has just learned that the Joker, the Clockwork Killer, Martha Wayne, is the one behind everything going on. With Penguin getting on the phone with him, trying to let him know that Dexter escaped, that he went to find his mother, not knowing how sick she is, not knowing that she is Two-Face. He worries that the boy may be in danger, and Thomas Wayne, he completely blows it off, saying the only thing that matters is Martha. And while he may not understand it now, this world does not matter. It does not exist. The only thing that matters is getting to Martha and stopping her from stopping Batman from destroying this world. That's where we pick up with the Clown Princess herself, coming out from the wall inside the cell of our new Two-Face. Miss Dent and young Dexter sitting here holding one another. Dexter is terrified, but Two-Face wants to hear what our Joker has to say. And while she does go to tell a joke, it takes her a minute to get it out, and before she can reach the punchline, we have Thomas Wayne, our Batman, comes crashing through the window. As the two of them begin their brawl, he is trying to figure out why she is doing this, why she would kill all of those people. And so with Batman currently being preoccupied, we see Miss Dent taking Dexter into the elevator, appearing to care for him, appearing to be a loving mother, but also having the other personality, having Two-Face come out, holding Dexter tighter and tighter. It looks like she just might be killing him, and Batman is unable to reach them in time before the elevator doors close. As Joker and Batman continue their brawl, locking themselves inside a room before all the guards show up on site. This is where Thomas Wayne, he demands some kind of answers, because she died. And though she's been wondering all of this herself, ever since Psycho Pirate started talking about Bruce Wayne, hearing him within the walls of Arkham, she went to his cell and made Psycho Pirate spill his guts. And then she gutted him like a fish. She knows everything. How this world has changed from what it once was. How Bruce became Batman. And how the Joker was born. She also learned about the Joker from where Psycho Pirate comes from. The Joker that faces off against Bruce Wayne. Laughing that that Joker was a man. And his name was Jack Oswald White. Before she butchered the time travelers, he was the first person she went to see in this world, in Flashpoint, simply out of curiosity. In this world, Mr. White was a failed comedian with a wife and child stuck in a mediocre job cleaning for a living, cleaning inside the Wayne Casino. But they are a happy family, and so she let them live. But this made her angry. Coming up from behind Batman in the darkness, she is able to stick a knife into his side. But as she listened to all the crazies go on and on and on, she learned more and more and more. And so she knows what she has to do. She would do anything to save Bruce Wayne. This is where we see down in the sewers, an entire investigative operation, learning about every single individual that she would need to take down. Not only that, she has a freaking time machine. This is where she really starts to fill in some questions. After she was left for dead, she woke up and she found a stream that took her out to a cave. This cave led her down into the sewers. Just so happens to be underneath Arkham. Through all of these pipes, she heard Psycho Pirate. Heard him talking about how this world shouldn't be. Hunting down every potential time traveler. Taking everything that they knew. And also leaving a trail for Batman to follow. Keeping him busy while she built her time machine. The problem is, the globe can't contain Hyper Timeline. It is currently leaking through. She hates this place as much as Thomas does. She wants to go back in time and ensure that they are the ones that die in that alley, that Bruce Wayne lives, and all it costs them is the entire universe. This is where we pick up with Bruce Wayne and our Time Hunters. The leader of the Time Hunters, Rip Hunter. He has showed up on site, letting Bruce know that he knows exactly why he is here. As Bruce Wayne lets him know that he is not gonna let him interfere in any of this. Batman doesn't have a choice. Alright guys, so we are picking up with issue number 6, the final issue to this amazing run. This miniseries has been tons of fun, and it starts us off with our Time Master, Rip Hunter, showing up, letting Bruce Wayne know it is time to stop, because Bruce Wayne has been manipulating Hyper Time. This snow globe that Bruce Wayne had activated, stolen from the time lab, but also stealing the watch. Both the watch and the snow globe, they are imbued with chronal energy. This energy is what is connected to Dr. Manhattan. This makes the snow globe and the watch temporal talismans, capable of not only capturing but containing Flashpoint, a timeline that was never supposed to exist. It now lives inside this snow globe. Now Batman, he's telling Rip Hunter it is time for you to leave, to take Corky and get out of here, because this time you don't want to challenge me. And Rip Hunter tries to let him know that he understands this is extremely personal for him, but imprisoning Flashpoint inside the globe is just waiting for a tornado to let loose inside of a jelly jar. It is only a matter of time before this thing shatters. Not only that, Thomas Wayne is rejecting it. He is rejecting the timeline. This is causing it to go chaotic. And then there is the truth that he didn't know about his mother. This has only made things worse. And so as the Time Masters go in for the globe, Bruce Wayne grabs hold of it, grabbing it and the watch before the Time Masters can take it away. This is where Batman's fight begins, and we are taken inside the Flashpoint. Thomas Wayne sitting here with Martha. She has just divulged her plan to go back in time, having a time sphere. Thomas Wayne has just learned all of the evil truth, learned that she is the Clockwork Killer. She is the one responsible for killing Barry Allen after Psycho Pirate had let her in on Bruce Wayne's alternate timeline. She wants to take both of them back to that night, to that alleyway with Bruce Wayne and Joe Chill. She wants to go back in time and save their son, saying that she swore an oath, death do us part, and she is going to see through, to erase their past existence of grief and emptiness, to end all of their suffering. They know now how to fix this broken universe. Extending out her arm, we see Thomas Wayne get up and Martha goes in for a kiss. Thomas Wayne finds himself at a point of hesitation, not being able to look past all the people she murdered, Barry Allen, his employees. But the truth is, Thomas Wayne has been going on this entire time about how none of this matters, that this world doesn't matter, and so those lives lost, they don't matter as well. This is when we see Mrs. Dent off in the corner, the Two-Face of the Flashpoint universe, having young Dexter Dent at gunpoint. She is ready to destroy it all, letting Martha and Thomas know that they are gonna go through with this, because she refuses to live this life any longer. As we pick back up with our Time Hunters and Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is letting Rip know that he is not gonna allow his father to be killed yet again. Hunter is really concerned about the fabric intertwining with everything else. What Rip Hunter wants to do is release the Flashpoint universe and reintegrate it with Hypertime to let his father finally rest, letting Batman know that if you don't help me, I will punish you in the past, in the present, and in the future. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the Flashpoint world, it is suffering tremendously. It looks like maybe somebody is coming back to life. It could be Barry Allen, his body vibrating as they do an autopsy. We have the son of Saturn, joined by the sentience of Magic, Wonder Woman, and her Amazons. They are all facing off against one another. If this were not enough, there are millions of Kryptonians that are now headed directly for Earth. It appears as if this planet, it is doomed regardless of what happens. Taking us back over to both Martha and Thomas. She is saying that this planet, it is doomed. This planet is born out of grief, out of loss, out of failure. And so the only thing that we can truly do is rescue everybody. But this is when Dexter, he asks Thomas Wayne, what will happen to me? Am I going to die? And this is what puts Thomas Wayne in pause. As Bruce Wayne goes against the Time Hunters, Corky taking the raccoon that was on top of his head, we learn that that is a living raccoon attacking Batman. This gives Rip Hunter the opportunity to grab the snow globe. It appears that Rip Hunter is about to destroy the Flashpoint universe. As Thomas Wayne and Dexter continue their conversation, he tells Dexter that he would have never died. It will be as if he never lived. This is when Thomas tells Martha to stop. And while she says none of this matters, no one will ever know the difference. He knows, Thomas Wayne knows that someone will. Someday, somehow, somebody is going to know that we didn't have a choice. That night in the alleyway with Joe Chill, the cards fell as they fell. But right now, right here, we have a choice. Martha, unable and unwilling to choose Dexter over her own son. Thomas Wayne has to. He goes in to stop Two-Face. That is when Mrs. Dent hits the button. There is a giant explosion. The time sphere is destroyed, with Mrs. Dent just absolutely losing it. She starts unloading her pistol, getting ready to turn it on little Dexter. That is when Martha interferes. Not even sure what she is doing herself, she grabs that pistol from her, and she takes out Two-Face, putting a couple rounds directly into her head, telling Dexter that she realizes that was probably a touch traumatizing, but his life has been saved. The three of them being able to make it out of the burning building. As they overlook the destruction, it begins to snow. As Martha and Thomas hold the hand of young Dexter, a new era is now upon them. That is where we pick up with Rip Hunter and Batman. Looking at the snow globe, the lights have gone out. This is when Rip Hunter, he recognizes that he is wrong. Thomas Wayne proved everybody wrong. The globe has stabilized. Even with a living paradox imprisoned inside of it, Bruce Wayne had gambled the entire universe on his father accepting the Flashpoint world without Bruce Wayne, accepting a world where Bruce Wayne dies in that alleyway. The reason he believed this is because of the letter that Thomas Wayne had wrote to Batman, that had wrote to Bruce Wayne. And now in this new universe, with Flashpoint reborn and now safe, it took Thomas Wayne being able to accept it, accept that Bruce Wayne has died, and move forward, with young Dexter taking up the mantle of Robin, with Martha imprisoned inside the Batcave, not only for other safety, but for her safety as well. The world doesn't know that Martha is alive. They didn't know that she was the Joker or Clockwork Killer, because Thomas Wayne, he is more focused on the Kryptonian invasion that is currently ongoing. The warships have arrived over the skies. All across the globe, heroes around the world are gathering for the battle as Batman and Robin, they head out into the fray. Picking up with our Time Hunters, very upset that Batman was able to get away with doing this. But Rip Hunter, he is going to punish Batman by not letting him know what is about to happen. He says that he is going to have his hands full with his mother's family. His punishment will be getting no warning at all. But Rip Hunter does believe that the Flashpoint universe, the globe, is currently more safe inside the Batcave than it is at the Time Lab, because their time capsules have failed. The 13 have been pulled back into history. It is currently rebuilding around them even now as we speak. The 13 being Molly Pitcher, Ladybug, Salem the Witch Girl, Cherry Bomb, John Henry Jr., the the Golden Age Red Lantern, Judy Garrick, the Harlequin Sons, the Golden Age Aquaman Quiz Kid, the Golden Age Legionnaire, and the Golden Age Mr. Miracle, with Rip Hunter praying that they reintegrate back into the 1940s without any incident. Rip Hunter is currently focused on nostalgia, the woman known as Cleopatra Pack, the one obsessed with the Watchmen. Today she turns 16 years old, and while most kids are busy learning how to drive, she is trying to get the attention of a god, messing with things that she doesn't quite understand. She is out here, and she is looking for the Watchmen, and that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Flashpoint Beyond has hands down probably been one of my favorite things to come out of DC Comics this year. They definitely started it off with us not really understanding what is going on, but by the 6th issue, it really brings everything to a close. Bruce Wayne had gone out of his way to try to save his father's life. After everything that happened on Justice League Incarnate, Thomas Wayne found himself back inside the Flashpoint universe. Unbeknownst to him, what he had to do was accept this world. Accept a world where Bruce Wayne does not live. This is the only way that Flashpoint would be able to stabilize. This is the only way that it would be allowed to exist. And while him not accepting this could have destroyed the very fabric of Earth Zero, it could have intertwined with Hypertime and destroyed everything. Both Martha and Thomas Wayne, they were able to overcome their grief. They were able to move on, to move forward, and in turn, they saved an entire universe. A universe that is still very much in threat because they are currently in the midst of a Kryptonian invasion. I almost guarantee that we are going to be seeing more from the Flashpoint universe. Moreover, we have Nostalgia. She is out here trying to find the Watchmen. The Watchmen easily being one of my favorite things. I am very excited to see what comes next for that, because the last time we saw Dr. Manhattan, I believe his powers were imbued into a young boy and he was put and hidden away on an Earth. Does this mean that we're gonna have the return of Dr. Manhattan, of the comedian, of Rorschach? Is she going to be able to find these heroes? Where are they going to be, and how are they going to play their part moving forward? Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything that happened with Flashpoint Beyond, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.